So here's one thing we've been working on lately, bigger terrains, bigger environments for the game. The Tower Fall environment is definitely going to be bigger. We're hoping to make it over 6 kilometers by 6 kilometers. And we thought along with that, we really should go back and visit those old terrains from the original game, which are quite small by any modern standard. So taking a look at Amethyst, here's the original terrain, 2 by 2 kilometers, which, you know, again, 2007, that was not a bad size, but it's time to make it bigger. So we're got some much better tools than we had 10 years ago for making these terrains. We had to do a lot of manual work to locate and extract the digital elevation data from the USGS in order to make accurate terrains of actual Yellowstone areas. Now we've got some nifty tools that we use right in Unity to download that data along with satellite maps, which we can use as the basis for our terrain textures. So here's the Amethyst area in the original terrain that's in the game now. It's again 2 by 2 kilometers, which is, it's actually rotated diagonally. So I can't quite show the size here, but it's about this big that I'm outlining here. So you've got the slopes going down to the Lamar River Valley, and then the slopes going up to Amethyst Mountain, but actually the terrain does not get you up to the top of Amethyst Mountain. You're just on the slopes of it. So what we're going to do now is make a bigger terrain. And I am going to go big here. So we're going to go up here and start it. Let's see, start it up here, and then we can drag this down and make it something like that. So you can see now we're talking about, if we click that, that's almost 7 kilometers on a side. So that's, again, yeah, 9 times bigger, more than 9 times bigger of our current terrain, which is right about in here. So we set that, and then the grid here is how it's going to download the data and slice it up into our terrain. There's some other little fussy things that we do here, but let's just generate that and switch over and take a look at that terrain. So here it is. This is that same plot of land. Now you might notice a few things right away from this with the satellite map draped over it. First of all, it's very green, and Amethyst in our game is not green. It's brown because it's October, which is when 2-year-old wolves leave their pack to go look for a mate. Whereas this is probably July or June or maybe even April or May when it's very green up there. So it looks different in that way. We'll make the appropriate changes when we put the actual textures on it to make it look like fall. Another interesting thing here, so you can see now, if you remember from the current game, so here's the slopes of the river valley. We actually zoom in here. There's the big pond. Look at that. That's how it shows up in the satellite photo. So that helps you get your bearings. So look at this though. So when we made the map in 2006, the mountainside here was still recovering from a big burn, a big forest fire, and so there was that big area of dead trees. Well, 10 years later, it's all grown back. So in the new map here, we're going to have a lot of lodgepole pine in here that's thriving instead of an empty burn zone, which is kind of sad, but it's also cool to show the changes in nature over time. So in choosing this area, I thought, you know, if the map's called Amethyst Mountain, we really should be able to get you up to the top of the mountain. So currently, this is the big open area. You go up the slope, and then there's that one stranger wolf zone up on the little plateau up here. That's that. It's also more wooded than it was back then. But you actually have to go up here to get to the summit of Amethyst Mountain. So it would be nice to include that in the new map, being able to get up here, maybe have a little Easter egg up there or an achievement or something like that. But it would be also nice to get down into the Lamar Valley itself, wouldn't it? Because that is kind of the iconic area where wolf reintroduction has taken place, and where if you go to Yellowstone, you're quite likely to see wolves if you get up early in the morning. So it'd be neat to have a map that was big enough to go from the Lamar River up to the summit of Amethyst Mountain. So we have to do a lot of testing and performance optimization to make sure this is all going to work well on the range of devices we have, especially mobile devices. No promises there. But I think it's high time we have bigger maps. One other thing here, you zoom in here that's kind of interesting is look how jaggy that is. It's like stair steps going up. Obviously, that's not really the case. And that's because of the resolution of the topography data that we're using. That's basically, you're seeing the raw data there shown on the terrain. Just like if you look at a topo map, you have those lines showing elevation points. This is the same thing turned into 3D. But fortunately, we have this tool that we use has a nifty way to deal with that, which is just to smooth it out. So I'll switch over here. We've already created the terrain, so I'll just hit smooth. Let's do it 3 times. Switch back. Look at that, all smooth again. Much, much nicer. You also notice when you zoom in here that it gets really blurry. That's because these are satellite photos, and although they are amazing nowadays, still, if you're on the ground running around, they're blurry. So we've got a lot of steps to do here before this terrain is ready to put in the game. Planting trees and bushes and grasses, and painting textures on to give really sharp, detailed graphics on for the ground cover. So there's a whole bunch of stuff left to do here, and maybe we'll do another video on that sometime. But it's nice just to have a new map and think about how much fun that's going to be to run around in.